What's going on, guys? My name is Meek, and today we're going to be going over how to conduct an MG rush. It's one of the fastest rushes that you can do in Tooth and Tail, and you almost never see it. So if your opponent doesn't have the right units in their composition to deny it, or if they're not quick enough with scouting to recognize what you're trying to do, you can get some very cheeky wins very early on. So without further ado, let's first look at the mechanics of doing an MG rush. So in this game, I went ahead and queued a farm, and then I scouted. And the first thing I noticed when I scouted was that my opponent had a single pig exposed on the closest side to their expansion. So if all three pigs had been lined up like this towards the expansion, I would have probably not attempted to do an MG rush, because it's much more difficult the more pigs that are facing the expansion. Not impossible, but more difficult. I also noticed that there's enough distance between the gristmill and the farm to conduct a pick. This looks like the distance of tiles, that the very last tile is within the range of the pig when the pig is on its frontmost tile of its 2x2 grid farm. But when it's on the backmost tile, it can't see this. So with this knowledge, I now know that I have enough information to attempt the MG rush. So now I just want to try to maximize the time I purchase this mill and when my opponent scouts me purchasing the mill. So notice, once I get up to 60 food, I could have purchased the mill at this point, but instead I'm trying to wait for my opponent to leave. So if we looked, they went ahead and bought another farm and left. So now I'm going to go ahead and buy the mill. And on our mini-map, it's going to show that our opponent was in fact scouting. They probably went around this direction. Here I'm still trying to just fake like I'm buying farms to trick my opponent for as long as I can, to make him think that I'm going eco. Now that it's up, the strategy is to wait for this pig to move to its backmost tile, lock it there by bringing my commander within range, because pigs stop moving when they're firing at your commander, or any other unit for that matter, and then build the MGs and hold my the pig at its backmost tile till the MGs are built, and then allow it to walk back forward into MG fire. So you notice I'm waiting for the pig to go back. Now I'm going to fix it, and once it's fixed, I'm going to dart back as fast as I can, buy the MG, and then quickly reposition to be back within firing distance of the pig before the pig walks forward. And our opponent, of course, is responding to this by buying tier 1, but tier 1 spawns slower, so sometimes moles can deny this. If they go ahead and build a mole warren while your mill's building, you'll have to give up on this strategy, but if they don't have moles, this is one of the fastest ways they can respond. And now that my MGs are built, really the only thing I have to be fearful of is my opponent walking around and attacking my own base. So I'm going to try to poke them as much as I can to incentivize them to stay in their mill. Try to close off the exit. As soon as they go for this building turret, I'm going to sell it, because I know it won't build in time. And now these lizards are already close enough to my MGs to force an engage, which will win, of course. Keep closing them off, and it was already the game deciding advantage. So now we're going to go ahead and look at how to stop someone from denying your MG rush. But first, we need to look at some situational cheese to kind of understand the idea behind denying someone who might have moles or might put their warrens down quick enough to deny the MGs. So in this game, I noticed that there are 4 pigs that don't have neighbors. And when this is the case, you can try to target them with 2 mole warrens. You'll notice our opponent here saw my moles, responded by building a warren, but it won't be fast enough. See, in this example, the only thing that can hurt my moles are the cornermost pig, unsupported by the other pigs. You also notice I didn't queue a farm at the beginning of this, which is the only reason it was able to work. If I had queued a farm, I wouldn't be able to put down 2 more warrens when I did. So you have to go 4 farms kind of naked into the scout. But like this, I could deny the building of warrens, take out 2 pigs, and then just continue to deny warrens, because moles do so much critical damage to structures, 6 damage per hit. And so at this point, this is already game crushing because I can take not it's game crushing because they're down to 3 farms, but also because I can just mole rush the mill down. And this is on the current patch. So that's a situational mole rush that you can get away with. But just understanding that you can use mole warrens to deny just standard squirrel or lizard warrens, or even an MG, can result in something like this. So here I have moles and an MG. So we're looking for our opponent. We find them. So, the information we have: an expansion adjacent to the mill, not 3 pigs on the side that's adjacent to the mill, and enough space to conduct the MG rush. So, perfect. Next thing is, we want to maximize the time that our opponent sees our expansion. So if they had just walked by us and continued to go on and scout, we would have built this. But our opponent went ahead and went for 4 farms straight into a lizard warren. This is pretty much one of the earliest timings you can build a lizard warren. Notice again, we did not queue a farm. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do this. But we can go ahead and build a mole warren, and that'll come out in time to deny this lizard warren of them. Now, if they had put the lizard warren in the back here, we wouldn't have been able to get to it. But this forward warren is exposed enough that we can deny it. And now we're going to go for this expansion. And once again, we're going to use our moles to deny the warren that they have building. And see, we can't deny that warren, but we've spent enough time. I could have microed these better to not lose them, but nonetheless, see, we made sure to pin the pigs on the back of their 2x2 tiles, and then we build them. And you have to build them fast enough that you can return back into range of the pigs before they walk forward. And so once they walk back, they're in range, and you take them out. And our opponent's down to a crippling 2 farms. Right, so here, they do manage to take out this warren, but not before I have 1 squirrel. And then I use the squirrel to harass them, but really, the only threat that they have left is to walk around my base and try to kill my mill with their units. So I had to return home, build some MGs. Right, the MGs are the only things that'll build fast enough. Squirrel warrens won't build fast enough to defend. So I went ahead and built those, and then continued to harass them with the squirrel. And at this point, they already knew it was game, so they went ahead and resigned, I believe. But right, so that was kind of mole denial in conjunction with the mole rush to make it still possible. Now again, if our opponent had put their original warren in the back of their mill, we wouldn't have been able to stop it the way we did. But they put it forward, as many of your opponents will, and we were able to take advantage of that. So a couple more examples for us. Here we're going to look at what we can do when we don't have plenty of space to conduct an MG rush. So if we look here, there is not enough space to harass this pig with an MG because there is terrain blocking us from putting any MGs between this mill and that farm. Also, there's not enough distance between the pig and the expansion to put an MG here and have the pig not see it from its cornermost expansion. So we have to be a little bit more precise in this example, which we will be. This time I went ahead and queued a farm, so as a result, the mole harass along with the MG rush isn't available to me. But wait for my opponent. This time I go ahead and kind of rush the mill, but against a player like Scav, who we've played so many times, he knows that I go for a lot of pre-farm cheese, so he went ahead and was going to build some warrens regardless. And so I go ahead and build an MG that is protected from this pig when it's diagonal from it. Not when it's forward, but diagonal, it'll be far enough. So that's what I had to be careful of. See? When it's diagonal, it's far enough from it. But if had it been just straight on, this wouldn't have been possible. So I get home as fast as I can because my commander did die. And now this MG will surely die, right? My opponent has three mills, but in the meantime, we can focus fire as many squirrels as we can to get maximum value. Otherwise, the MG will kind of just shoot at whatever squirrel is closest, and it can end up only taking like multiple squirrels to half health or a third health without killing them. So that's why I'm sticking around and target firing as many as I could to get as most value as we could off of that attack. And now our opponent has 4 squirrels and we have no units. And we can't reinforce fast enough with units of our own, so we have to respond with MGs. So we go home, build MGs. Our opponent leaves, and we're free to just kind of continue the game. And so what we kind of have at the moment is an advantage. So our opponent, right, is going to try to eco up extremely quickly to try to get back into the game. So in the time that they've ecoed up, we went ahead and bought a tier 2. They cannot eco up at the same speed as us and get a tier 2. This is important too. I didn't show it, but I built 2 moles nearby their base so that when they finally spawn, there's less time in between us walking towards their base and me attacking them. And it was right outside of the commander vision. So the commander actually walked right past them and didn't see them because it was kind of outside the natural path. And so right, opponent thinks we're going for an attack, or we're going for eco. We go ahead and sell. And now right, had we built our moles over here and waited for them to spawn, we might have, well, for one, they would have noticed the moles, right? So they would have known we were going for an attack. But now we can kind of just rush this mill down with the combination of ferret and mole. So it's 1, 2, maybe 2 seconds it takes to kill the mill with this selection of units. Just like that. Okay. That's one of the ways to keep pressure. But more importantly, that was what to do when you don't have like a clear-cut line of sight to put down your MGs. I think we only have 2 left. Ah, yes. So in this one, we're focusing not on the MG rush itself, because this one is less kind of indicative of what you'll get in your own games, and more of how to properly micro your squirrels to sustain an MG rush. That's what we're going to be working on. So, we're playing Sasha. We wait for them to leave, right? We could have bought this a couple seconds earlier, but we wanted to wait for our opponent to be out of their base. They're going to notice that we're floating a little bit of food, and they will respond correctly by putting down a mole warren. This example, this expansion is too far, right? Too far to MG rush them. But we are fast enough to, at the very least, get these MGs up. And our opponent has lost some value here. I buy a squirrel warren, and now I'm going to MG creep, meaning put my MGs as close as I can. So I sell down, and I put them closer. Close enough that if they try to leave their base, they will take some damage. And also close enough for me to harass and pretty much take out their mill with squirrels. And so now, notice I'm attacking with my squirrel from one side of my MGs. When my opponent contests my squirrel, right, my squirrel's taking damage, they're contesting it. I move it to the other side, because now my opponent has to, or I will move it to the other side. I'm sorry. I don't think I moved it to the other side in this example, but I retreated it. At the very least, I retreated to deny him from doing more damage, right? So if his units come in range to contest my scroll fire, they'll be in range of the MGs. And so it's kind of a tug of war game, right? Just poking as much as I can. Right? If they try to contest it, they lose squirrels. So just push and pull, push and pull. And at this point, we already have a critical mass of squirrels, so we can just go kind of straightforward, contest their squirrels. And our opponent no longer has enough units to contest. And then finally, we're going to look at how to target a mill that has three farms towards the direction of our expansion. So in this game, I don't elect to MG rush them right away. Most likely just as a result of indecision. Ah, this was the problem. I was waiting for my opponent to leave. They didn't quite leave. So I had to wait as long as I could. Right, we're pretending, oh, we're ecoing up, da 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 da. Now I go ahead and buy. And because I've waited longer to go for the MG rush, all these pigs are already built, and I'm now faced with 3. So the best that I can do is choose to attack a corner pig first. You'll notice I was too slow, and these pigs managed to move forward, so I had to sell and wait to try this again. Pigs are out of range. I give it another shot. 2 pigs are out of range. I put down the 3rd. 3 pigs are out of range. I put down my 3rd MG. I just hold them all as long as I can. And now they come in range. And just like that, we've taken out 3 pigs, which is already a crippling advantage. Our opponent responding the only way they can, by attacking us. So it's important to notice I burrowed back and sold all my MGs because they've done their job, so that I have enough money to buy more MGs to defend my own mill. So Lego Man went ahead and saw those MGs and went home. And so psychologically, I know that he's not coming back, so I can already go ahead and sell them. And in this example, I go for a fox, but you can eco up, you can buy some regular units. It really doesn't matter. Your advantage is already so big that all my opponent can do is try to catch back up with eco. Otherwise, they'll simply fall too much behind. So you basically you build any kind of army, and then you go and attack. So I'm fast forwarding because the rest of this game isn't too relevant. Right? The point is, we attack with a greater army value than our opponent, and we're able to find some success. All thanks to the advantage we got thanks to the MG rush. So that is how to conduct an MG rush, folks. Hopefully you can add it to your bag of cheese and take it forth into your own tooth and tail games. So that's all, folks. See you in the next one.